We're on the team bus heading to Katowice, a short trip but one that could end not just in promotion, but in the title. So we've brought you back for a big game today. It's first place takes on 7th place. Promotion is already guaranteed. We've been in good form since the winter break. We'll show you that form in a moment, as well as introducing you to a new player that we've recruited. But let's show you the league table first of all, because it is looking incredibly healthy. We are 11 points clear of 2nd place Sovnoviec. And if we manage to get a win today, we will stay a minimum of 11 points clear, but crucially with only 9 left to play for. A point might be enough to do it today. Heck, a defeat could even do it today if Zaglebi were also to lose. But we want to try and go out in style. It's an away game. It will be tricky. It's against GKS, who are just outside the playoffs, so they've got plenty to play for themselves. If we don't get it done today, we are actually playing the team in 2nd place in one of our upcoming fixtures. But let's show you what our form has been like since the winter break. We'll reverse the run of our fixtures so that you can see them more clearly. So we played 3 friendlies. Remember, we were taking a good 3 months off. I probably should have played another friendly or so because the boys, they weren't that fit when we returned to our league form, but we have been good. We were a little bit shaky in the first game, a 1-1 draw, but then we sprung into life. Back-to-back 3-0 wins, followed by a 3rd game on the spin where we managed to score ourselves 3 goals, and we were just getting warmed up. 2-1 in the next game, and then 6-1 in the game after that. We looked absolutely superb, and we got a hat-trick for a man who has discovered his shooting boots. Łukasz Sokolski is now up to 12 goals. Unfortunately, a tight thigh is going to keep him out of the title-deciding game today, so we're going to have to work a little bit of a fudge up front to find a new striker for today's game. But then we were brought right back down to earth in the next game. Why we lost this game 1-0, I'm not entirely sure. The match stats were pretty similar to the game we'd won 6-1 the week previously. But they scored pretty early through Pavlovsky, and we weren't able to find the breakthrough. And you'll see we had some pretty poor performances, including another subpar performance from Nobby Wojciech. So I've decided to rotate him out of the team recently, and we have a new player that we've been playing, and he has been involved. He's been involved recently in 2-1 wins, 1-0 victories, and he even scored in a 4-1 win in the derby. What a way to introduce yourself to the fans. Now, you know that in this series, we are not making any transfer signings, but in our search for a new midfielder, perhaps to rotate in for Nobby, we found Patrick Mizgawa in our youth team. He'd been playing for our 2nd team and doing all right, doing okay. Certainly playing in the youth team, he'd been getting some really good performances, and we thought we might be able to make a little bit of a player out of him. He's got a fairly sporting personality, got some pretty decent attacking attributes as well. The flair is lovely, the vision is great, and you'll see at the tender age of 18, he's already got himself 3 assists for the first team. Alongside that goal, he's pulling an average rating of 7.24, and he's only just started playing senior football. So I think we might have found Gurnik, a player that they might be able to utilise over the coming seasons. He's already valued more than £500,000, maybe as much as £900,000. I think he could be one to watch. And in his short time in the first team, he's been a valuable player, linking up with Salma Hayek in midfield. The two of them together have looked great. Let's show you how we're going to line up for this afternoon's game. These are the boys that could go out and cement themselves legendary status. So it's not all been smooth sailing since the winter break. We have had some injury layoffs, including a rather nasty one for the Hoff, I'm afraid. Just as we were coming back from the winter break, he tore his knee ligaments. Potentially, they said he could be out for 3 months. He's been out for 2 months so far, and he's back in training, but he is undergoing some rehab. Still expected to be out potentially for another 10 days, and even after that, we'd have to ease him back into first-team football He might be fit enough to start potentially on the last day of the season, but he's not been involved for the last couple of months and he's not going to be involved today. So we've had to make some changes to our defensive line. The player that's come in is Alexander Palyashek, who would have been a first choice centre-half for us this season had he not announced before we'd even kicked a ball in anger that he was going to be leaving us on a free transfer because he saw his future away from the club. So he's actually been pretty lightly raced so far this season. We bought him in when the Hoff got injured. He's played pretty well. He's averaging a 7.21, but the man we're really relying on still at the back is the player who was meant to be his deputy and has actually become our warrior back there. Jakub Szymanski has played incredibly well. 7.58 for his average rating. 6 goals he's managed to get now. And between the two of them, they've kept us pretty solid back there. You'll see there's Mizgawa linking up with Hayek in midfield. Let's see whether he can continue his good run of form today. But the other player that we're going to be relying on today is Łukasz Woltyński. We're going to need a performance from him. What with our main striker being injured, he's only got 2 goals all season. I know he's only started 7 games, and we have been playing him in midfield for some of this season, but we could do with him stepping up and firing us to glory today. Katowice is by no means an easy game. Let's show you the scout report so that you can see what we're up against before we get out there for a game that could assure our place as champions of the Polish second tier. Today we're making the short trip to Katowice, the region's capital and one of the largest cities in southern Poland. Just 20 kilometres separate Górnik and another local rival in the form of GKS. The 3-time Polish Cup winners sit in 7th place in the league table this season, and they will be desperate for 3 points to ignite their own playoff challenge. Marshalled by experienced coach Iranius Marmrot, GKS will be out to thwart our title ambitions, to deny us our destiny, to prevent us becoming legends. It's all on the line as GKS Katowice take on Górnik. Okay, not exactly packed stands for today's game, is it? But hopefully we've brought a couple of thousand with us who might just see us climb the podium at the final whistle as we lift the title. I would like to see some confetti falling. It doesn't always fall when you win the title. Hopefully we can get the job done today as we strike the bar after less than 90 seconds. Don't be one of those days. That was a good start, but I would like to see us climb the podium. You don't always get that little graphic when you seal a league title. I would like to see it today. We didn't get to see it at Długopolia for whatever reason, so hopefully today we can see our boys lift a trophy. Here is that new man, and he could have just got his 4th assist of the season. He's playing as a box-to-box midfielder. He will get forward and get on the end of chances, but he's more of a schemer, more of a creator, and he picks the ball up in these deep positions, and he's got like radar-like accuracy with some of his passes as Juritka goes through, and we have been lively in the opening 7 minutes. Juritka's probably had our best chance there. I think we should be 1-0 up already. Hopefully we're not going to regret these missed opportunities later on in the game. Going to leave it a little bit longer before we potentially put out an encourage shout. But I do like the way we've started. Here is Sukachev. He's got all the runners inside him. And that could have been the youngster, getting forward. It wasn't a great effort, but it does show he can burst into the box. And we are just flooding forward. I don't think the boys are looking too nervous. They are looking royally in the mood for today's game. We're closing them down. We're harrowing them. There's the youngster. He's dinked it out. Bokovic gets the cross in. I think Juritka has clipped the bar. That's twice. We've hit the woodwork. We're not even at the halfway point of the first period. I don't think 2-0 would flatter us the start that we've made. But we need that first goal. If we go in 0-0 at half-time, well, you never know. The second half could be a completely different story. Here's our star man. The man that always seems to have the finish. You'll see that Mizgawa was involved in the build-up. I think he sent the ball out wide before it came in. Juritka's there. There he is. He's actually dinked it inside. Woltyński, we said we wanted a performance from him. He's dropped off as that deep lying forward. He's sent Selma Hayek through. Now let's pause the game. Let's throw out the praise shout because I do think they've made a great start. Could we get ourselves a second goal going into the half-time break? The highlights have calmed a little bit. It's like the boys got that goal. Now they've just regrouped. We go again for the second. Here we go. Szymanski, Paliashek, comfortable at the back. Here is Makalic. He's held up his end at left back this season. He's not a rampaging forward, but he is a player that is just solid defensively, plays the ball into midfield. And our youngster, Ms. Gower, he sent a through ball through. Fortunately, we weren't able to take advantage of it. We've got an injury. And this is a player who I highlighted right at the start of our time with Gurnik as being our most important player. Unfortunately, Mateusz Bokovic has barely been involved. He's just been picking up too many injuries. 17 games. Well, I would have liked him to play way more than that. You can see by his 7.44 rating, he would easily have been a valuable addition to us, but he has picked up yet another knock. We will bring on Michalski. He's played well as well when he's had to deputise in fairness to him, so I'm not sure we've been weakened too much. But that does rob us a little bit of our attacking impetus down the right flank. Ms. Gower is in there defensively that time. I do love this boy. I might even offer him up, as one of the 3 players to vote on as our favourite from our time at Gurnik, because even though he's only become involved recently, he has made such an impression, and he would be a nice one to keep an eye on, given that he's only 18 years old. I might throw him in there, maybe with Hayek, certainly with PJ Juritka, and you can choose who we're going to track through the remainder of this save, along with players from Dugapolia and Peronia, and we'll see whether any of them go on to greatness. You never know. We've got, 3 minutes to the break. I think we're going to have to content ourselves just being 1 goal up at the interval. I reckon we've deserved a second, but we have played well. We keep this up, we're going to be lifting the title. So we gave them the old, you're doing okay, but we need another goal to take charge of the match. They responded. We've been here long enough now that they do tend to respond to our pleas. A few times we've not been performing that well in the first half, and we've given them, a little bit of a chasing at half-time, and they've come out and scored early in the second half. Let's see whether they can do that for us today. There's Volchtinsky. Here is the teenager. Gets it back to the Magic Man. Magic Man's a cultured player as well. PJ's in. Get it onto your right foot. He's taking it on his left. That's not his favoured shooting foot. We are creating an awful lot of chances so far, but we still find ourselves with the slenderest of leads. We're going to have to check in on the results of the team that's in second place as well. If we concede, would a draw still be enough for us to be crowned title winners today? Maybe we won't need that because PJ's in. 2-0 should do it, shouldn't it? These boys don't often gift the opposition routes back into the game. We might regret those little pearls of wisdom. But that is a great bit of overlapping fullback play. There's the youngster, the vision. He sees the overlapping fullback. He is like a young Magic Morovska, let me tell you. I think we might have unearthed a little bit of a gem. The critics down in the comments will say maybe you should have unearthed him 6 months ago. To them I say, you're absolutely right. We're on the 62-minute mark. Time for some fresh legs. We could be about to seal our title win. So Juritka was looking pretty tired on the left wing. We've brought on the Ukrainian Hirosu, rapidly becoming one of our key impact subs. A player, by the way, that somebody down in the comments said that they used to play with in Ukraine. How small a world it is. We've got the ball here. Selma's on it. A third goal would just make things comfortable for the final 10 minutes. The youngster, he has just been knitting it together like Carlos Valderrama today. He just drops into little pockets of space. And he just ties all of our play together. Salma's there. Now we've got it through to Michalski. That is a terrible, terrible ball. Sweet Caroline gets it away. We're coming forward again. Sukachev. Salma's had a go. That's a good effort. I think it could be time for our final substitution. I'm seeing some pretty poor performances from a couple of players. One's the sub that's just come on. The other is Sukachev. I think we're going to sub him out for Shimashko, another player that really, when I took over, I thought was going to be one of our stars this season. He hasn't been. Let's check on the form of the second place team. They are winning 1-0 at Wooch, so we're going to have to beat them in order to seal the title. But at 2-0 down, going into injury time, I think we have done it. The Magic Man tries one last time. We've clipped the bar for a third time, I think. But that should do us. It's full time. We don't get the little graphical animation that we deserved. We've got an XG of 2.52. We really should have had a third. But where was our confetti falling? Nice work, everyone. That was good. I wanted to see these boys climb the podium. Let's jump into the table and just confirm that my maths is correct. And we definitely are champions. Panic over, everybody. Panic over. You'll see we've got the confirmation in our inbox. We have lifted the Fortuna 1 Liga title. We are 11 points clear of the second place team. There are only 9 points left to play for. That, I think, is a good season's work. But we've got to come back for Wednesday's episode where we're going to be playing the final game of the season. We're going to be having a look at the performances of our key men throughout the campaign. We're going to be looking at how Peronia, Dugapolia and Benin have been getting on during their seasons in charge. And then we're going to have a look at our managerial profile, which has had a nice little bump before we start applying for jobs, looking for our next leg of the adventure in FM22 Mercenary.